All right, dude, I'm going to do it. I'm going to pull the trigger.
No. Dude, you have so much to live for.
No, I need to. I need the money. I have to do this.
Dude, your insurance, it's only $5.
Yeah, but my son really needs, like, a drink right now.
You could work one more day and make that money.
I think you're really underestimating my desire to work one more day.
Maybe that would be worth $5 then.
All right. Goodbye, cruel world. Goodbye to my senses.
I can't hold it in. That was pretty good overacting. Pull the trigger.
It was a fart gun from the Minions movies. See what I did there with the goodbye to my senses?
Double play on words. Mine is actual authentic HMO for Blue Cross Blue Shield. Real.
Ooh, excellent work. Very appropriate for today's talk on Epizootic. Epizootic. Epi what? By Kurt Vonnegut. I am Una.
And I am Krypto. Wrong syllables today.
So you put the emphasis on the wrong syllable.
Yeah.
All right, so this work was posthumous?
I don't know.
We're picking really difficult words today.
Yes.
2011 is when it was publicized. I don't know when it was written. Do you know when this was written?
No, I don't. I mean, if it came out in 2011, maybe they just collected all his stories from the magazines, and I don't know the original. So if someone does, put it in the comments down below, please.
I'll say this. You'll notice that let's just go ahead and enter spoiler territory. You need to go read this story if you haven't already. It's 4 pages long.
Very short.
You'll notice that it's only men that are doing this. Men that are supposed to be the providers for their family, which feels like it could maybe be an older work. And also the fact that there doesn't seem to be a suicide clause in any of these insurance games. That tends to be a newer concept too, I think.
Yeah, either it's written in the later part of his life and he's reflecting back, or it was written in the younger part of his life and he's writing it during the time period it's taking place, which I think is probably more realistic. And the amount of money they're getting is nothing.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, he could have written it nowadays and just set it back in a time period of the 1950s or 60s, but what do they get, $5,000 or something? I mean...
Yeah, it's got to be older because there's no suicide clause. The money's minuscule, and like you said, it's men that are the providers for the family.
Yeah.
So, all right, so let's go into quotes. Do you have any?
I think we just have the 2 quotes, and I was going to let you do both.
The principal industry of this country is now dying for a living. That sounds like a Bon Jovi song, doesn't it?
Don't get us copyrighted on our 20th video. We'll be demonetized.
All right, and then the other quote is, to the epidemiologist. Notice how quickly I was able to say that word correctly?
That flew right off the tongue.
I know. I was pretty smooth with that one. To the epidemiologist who deals only in staggering figures, the epizootic is overwhelmingly a disease of successful, ambitious, married men with more than one child. Which basically is so you basically just read the story by that one quote.
Yeah, that's the plot of the whole thing.
I could do it real quick. So deaths running rampant across America, with the average age of death for men falling from 68 to 47. Milliken, the 46-year-old president of the Insurance Casualty Company, is meeting with Breed and Dr. Everett, who has named the disease Epizootic.
Epizootic.
Episomething.
Epidemic. Let's go with that.
They discuss how an actuary recently killed himself to take care of his family with all of the extra life insurance money. Milliken scolds Everett, demanding to know what the government would do so that they wouldn't go out of business. And they discuss making the disease public, but then quickly retract that info as it only speed up the spreading of this disease. Breed takes a phone call about a plane crash and for some reason suddenly can ground all planes. Like, that's a thing? Like, you can just make a call and do that, I guess, in this world?
Post 9/11, you could. I don't know.
And then Milliken starts to finally break his shell and reveals that he has a picture of his wife and multiple kids and that he must also now have the epizootic. Milliken grabs his gun, probably not just a simple fart gun, but a real gun.
A real gun.
And commits suicide. And that's the plot of the story. So that comes to our discussion. Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
When you were reading this, how quickly did you determine that it wasn't like a disease, that it was like this money driving the factor? Like, was it not till the reveal at the end, or did you have a feeling early on?
Yeah, very early I was like, oh, well, the play on words, epizootic, and epidemic are so close. And I figure, oh, this is a play on words with a psychological implementation of a disease where one person does it and then it starts to run rampant across the country and become a trendy and becomes a movement. I mean, this would be hashtag epizootic across Twitter if this started happening nowadays. I think that I figured it out pretty early, very, very early. I had an inclination that was going to happen.
Well, epizootic's a real word, right?
Yeah, but I don't know what it means. I was going to look it up, and I forgot.
It's a disease that's spread by animals. So bird flu, if you will, is
Okay.
I think, an example of that.
Okay.
I think we've both read enough Vonnegut to know that this was not going to be just a disease, that this was going to be something related to humanity. That's just his writing.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess we got to start this conversation about the value of life, because insurance companies, I mean, they've been around since, 1760 or something like that. They actually calculate that upon death, here is the money value of your life. That
Yeah,
if
so
you were to pass away, this is what we're going to pay your bereaved.
Yeah, so how much money you would make over the lifetime, and this is your worth, and that's what they're going to get.
Now, obviously, there's tragic cases of suicide. Let's set those aside. But in the average, normal situation, people don't willingly cash that in. They're like, we're strapped for cash. I'm worth this much. I could just off myself. Like, in normal day-to-day situations, that's not a thing. Here is the Vonnegut version where that's now a thing, where you've become worth so much, it's more valuable to your family to go ahead and cash in those chips as opposed to before, right?
Yeah, which is very dark, very, very negative viewpoint of the value of oneself being compared to money, and then being willing to say that for my family, that is more valuable than having me around.
Well, it's an interesting, because the goal is you want your family to keep moving up, right? The one-way man, that he eventually hits this point where he's no longer increasing the value of his family's wealth. Like, I guess when you retire, you're now a vampire off of your wealth, right? Here's where once you get to that point where you're no longer adding to it, you just take yourself out of the picture is what this world is. And I think that's kind of interesting, especially the way this is told from the insurance perspective.
I think that the story itself, it becomes very ironic in that sense of people that are calculating how much one's self is worth in money. The head guy of that ends up killing himself as well. So it's very situational, ironic, and I think that it's a very self-aware story as well, because of what happens to the main guy, the main character in the story.
Yeah, I kind of wondered if this is like an interesting take on I think it's called the Peter principle. Do you know what that is?
No.
I don't know when that term came along, which would be interesting, but it's the concept: you go into work, you're really good at your job, right? What happens?
You get promoted.
You go up. You do a really good job at that point in your career. What happens?
You go up.
You keep getting promoted until you're into a position where you're so inept and unable to keep up that you're actually bad at your job, and then that's where you're stuck. That's called the Peter principle. So basically the idea is everyone gets promoted into a point of being inept at your job, which is a very Vonnegut concept. Here he's talking about, well, people are so bent on moving forward, adding to wealth, increasing your value, that once you hit that point where you're no longer adding to it, you're cashing in your chips for the family in order for them to keep moving forward, which I think it's just so Vonnegut, is it not?
It starts the idea of this being cliche. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting that it's from the insurance perspective, because take a health club, like a workout facility. Let's say your max capacity is 100 people. So you'd say, okay, maybe people work out for 2 hours a day. So, 2 hours, there's I'm going to be open for 12 hours a day. So 6 hours times 100 people. So I'll get 600 members and my gym will be at max capacity, is the concept, right? But that's nowhere near accurate. I can't remember the actual number, but I guess health facilities only count on 30% of their people even using it ever. Like they're counting on 70% somewhere around there, or people to sign up and then just never use it. And think about that from a life insurance perspective too, right? All these people sign up for it. Nobody cashes in their chips normally, day to day, willingly. That this is kind of like a company that's built on people paying in to sustain the outbound traffic, if you will.
Yeah, there's many companies that do that. Airlines, hotels, they all overbook. And car insurances, and they're counting on that 99% of the people aren't going to get in an accident and need their services, so that's why they're raking in all the money.
Did you notice the really long job titles in this?
Yeah, they were ridiculous.
I kind of feel like now that we've done player piano, like I wrote down American Reliable and Equitable Life and Casualty Company of Connecticut, the United States Department of Health and Welfare. I kind of feel like, do you feel like this might be a little bit of spillover from his GE days? Like, how corporate America titles can just become filthy long. I kind of feel like he might be like poking at that a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, he's definitely, it seems like he's poking fun at corporate America for sure. Yeah. So you had something about the numbers, and I thought about that. And what was the number you said was unique?
46 for when they off themselves?
I thought that you said I thought in the story it was 47, but he's 46.
Yeah, it's the average age of death fell from 68 to 47, and the president was 46, which originally, when I didn't know where he was going with this, I was thinking like, oh, do the wealthy in charge live longer? And obviously I was way off by the end of the story here. So he was right at the cusp of the average age, right?
Yeah, because what I was thinking was with 47, and again, maybe I'm looking too deep into it, but I thought about 47 Ronin, where those guys sacrifice themselves for the greater good, and they go on their mission, and they all die in that story, and 47 is the age that all these guys are dying now.
Yeah, have you read that story?
I haven't read it. I've just seen the few different movie adaptations.
I've read it, and it's a story about patience and revenge, if you will. So I could definitely see that point if the people weren't doing it for money, but for some purpose of like revenge or something. Like I could see that, but interesting reach. But I feel like I need a little revenge plot line to make that one work for me.
Yeah. All right. So my last point then is this idea that I feel like the story is very what we would call slapstick comedy today. Because of the irony, I kind of thought it was funny that it unfolds. And again, I don't think the concept of what is taking place in the story is funny, but I imagine if this was written today, it would be something like, imagine the Big Bang Theory, and we're sitting around doing a pitch meeting for an episode, and we're like, all right, what if Wolowitz missed out on getting tickets to Comic-Con, and he's the only one that doesn't get to go? And so he goes and starts selling plasma, and he goes to all these different, blood banks using different names, trying to get enough money to buy, trying to buy one of these tickets that's on eBay that are going for thousands of dollars, so he can go with Leonard and Sheldon, all the other guys on the show, and he's literally selling himself to try to get to go to this, and then it ends up that he misses the bid on eBay or something because he passes out from loss of blood and he misses the last bid. It just, I could see it like, this could be a story to inspire something like that on modern sitcoms.
Where people are killing themselves for Comic-Con.
for material possessions, for
killing themselves to live. Yes, I like it. I would hire you to write that episode.
I always say I should write those things.
It's a good premise.
Got
to turn the plot around. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in today. We post videos every Monday, Thursday, and we have a surprise video half the time. So we do 2 to 3 videos a week on literature and literature breakdowns. Please consider subscribing to find out all the latest deets.
And smash that like button.
Yeah, smash it.
Smash it.
I want you to just take it, just take that little slash button and just do it. All right, real quick before you guys go, we did want to address something real quick, Crypto.
Yeah, we just wanted to make sure you guys know that suicide is a very, very important issue. And if you are having suicidal thoughts or tendencies, please reach out to somebody for help. We'll leave the link in the description down below for the Suicide Prevention on life.org, or you can call their 800 number at 1-800-273-8255. So please get help. You are worth it. And if nobody else told you today, you are awesome and we love you.
I'm going to say ditto to everything Crypto said. If you are having issues, please consider reaching out to the Suicide Prevention Lifeline.org and make sure that you treat this life for what it's worth.